Fellas, don't drink that coffee.
You'd never guess. There was a fish in the percolator.
Showtime, everybody!
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fish in the Percolator. I am one of your hosts, Scott Meany, and with me, as always, is my co-host.
Hi, I'm Matt Jorney.
Episode, what the hell are we on? 5 now?
Episode 5 of Season 3, Part 5 of The Return.
It's The Return, and it's called Case File. The thing about this season is, man, it is hard to talk about it quick because it covers so much ground in every single episode.
There's at least 8 different scene locations in every episode so far.
We start out in Vegas this week, outside the abandoned house or the development yard where Dougie and the hooker were.
Mm-hmm.
There's still some hoodlums cruising the neighborhood in their car, and they're talking to this new woman that I don't believe we've seen before.
Nope, she's clearly either a receptionist, if not flat out their boss. The hitmen?
I don't think she's the top boss because she looks real nervous at the end of that scene. So I don't know.
We still got these two staking out the scene where they thought they were going to ambush Dougie. His car hasn't moved in 3 days. None of the hitmen went into the house, right?
No, none of them went in the house. They all just kind of took it on faith,
or they just know that he's not there. Like I'm giving these delinquents the benefit of the doubt, and maybe it's wrong to do so, but they're just swinging by to see if Dougie has picked up his car so that they can go trace it, or to see if the bomb has gone off. But, no one's even bothered to, search the house and look for Dougie yet.
So, since I guess we don't know how to get back to it later, across the street, we've still got the drugged-out lady and her kid, who's been watching through the window the whole time.
Who we now know the child is probably dumber than Andy and Lucy combined. That's a dumb boy. That is a dumb child.
I think that kid's very, very young and in a very, very weird situation. I don't know that I knew it was a bomb because it could have been a tracker. But either way, I wouldn't have gone to mess with it. But then again, you are stuck without television in that house while your mom drinks cheap booze and does drugs, and passes out in the hallway. I guess what else are you going to do? I'm willing to give this kid the benefit of the doubt. How about that?
I will give the kid a pass. He's clearly had a rough childhood that he's still very young in the process of growing out of. But I will say something.
Walk it off.
Excluding the drugs and the day drinking that I'm going to guess mommy is doing. It may be older sister, who knows, but it looks like mommy. Why did she set up her drug and booze table to play solitaire on in the middle of the hallway? Once again, we see Lynch doing really weird setup for shots, and I'm arcing back to Major Briggs and his wife sitting in the middle of the kitchen. Not at the kitchen table, but in the middle of the kitchen for no other reason than we need a wide angle for this shot.
I was going to argue, but yeah, you're right. That kitchen seating for the Briggs family, good call.
It was ridiculous.
Kid goes out to investigate the car out of, sheer boredom at that point. Goes out, reaches for it. Immediately, a car full of punks pulls up, tells him, get the fuck out of here. And they get in the car to go mess with the car. It explodes in a terribly shot car explosion. I don't know what the hell that was. It cut away from the explosion and then came back awkwardly to it. And then you had to wait till the end of the scene to be like, was no one in the car at the moment it blew up? And then they show a body. Okay.
One body. There should be 3, but there's one body that's just a rib cage at this point that's on fire. Scott, the thing you have to know is that punks circa 1997, they burn up real good, and that's exactly what we had here.
Yeah, and you had a good point in, I think, the first episode where you were calling all the technology kind of mid-90s, late 90s type tech. Mm-hmm. Because people are still using, BlackBerry's probably the most advanced phone I've seen on the show.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I thought maybe I misread this, and this is actually a period piece, and this was taking place in the 90s or the early 2000s for a second. There is a scene that I don't want to ruin just yet, but later we'll actually see a piece of modern-day tech. Their MacBooks. Their Apple MacBooks.
Yeah, heavy Apple presence all of a sudden in this episode.
Probably a sponsor, but at the same time, it's okay, well, that shit clearly didn't exist in 1997. But even the style of music and the type of clothing, the punks that were stealing the car. I'm calling them punks because that's how they're labeled in the credits.
Splatter punks.
Yeah, flaming punks at this point.
Middleman eats bullets.
Yeah, okay, so the car explodes. The child realizes, oh my God, I was literally finger fucking a bomb. Runs back into his house and watches the bodies burn.
Like, and that's really, I think that's the end of what we get in this lot for the moment, this episode.
I mean, we're to believe that drugged out mother and her son probably aren't really resonance there, right? This is a developing...
Oh, no one is. Like, I think everyone was squatting, because that's even what the hooker, who, as she appears again in this episode, I'm starting to think, we should probably learn this hooker's name. There's a lot of characters.
It's definitely a stripper name. It's Jasmine, isn't it?
Could be, sure.
Okay, whatever. We're calling her Jasmine anyway.
Candy Jasmine, whatever. Doesn't matter. She made a point to make a note in that first episode that we have to get out of here. These houses are abandoned or whatever. This development is being built. Like, we got to get out of here before someone catches us. So, yeah, I don't think anyone's there legally.
Since we brought her up...
I was going to say, might as well.
Yeah, might as well go for this because it's a very quick scene, but this might be the catalyst that actually leads the FBI to Dougie Coop. And which, God damn it, I need that to happen soon. Like, you got another 2 episodes where I'm going to be tolerant of this, and then I'm going to start to drop off the this better not be what this entire season is about, or else I will be disappointed. The hooker that Dougie was with. Anyway, she's getting her Jeep detailed, and the mechanic finds the key that Coop left to the Great Northern. And on the back of it, it's like, please return to such and such address if taken. And she dumps it in the mailbox.
So, are you thinking this is going to be the thing Hawk was missing?
See, maybe Hawk finds it, but I don't see how Hawk will get, news from Vegas. But I'm assuming the FBI, who's having an open investigation into the disappearance of Coop, is going to catch wind of it when it gets back to the Great Northern and the Horns contact the FBI.
So there is, also remember that we had that brief scene with Ernie Hudson, because of course we did, where we got a quick shot that, okay, so the FBI has been looking for Coop, and every time something blips across the U.S., somebody's tracking that down. Then in the military, they're also checking for what happened to Garland Briggs. They got another hit, and they're on the way to check out another scene of a possible appearance of Briggs, or something has happened involving Briggs. So we're going to find out probably next episode what that means. But it was just a quick introduction to, don't you worry, the military is still very much a force here.
A couple things I want to bring up about that. We forgot to mention a very important detail from last episode, which is Bobby reveals that Major Briggs is dead, supposedly died in a fire the day after Coop disappeared.
Yeah.
And it was also stated that Coop talked to Major Briggs. Major Briggs was supposedly the last person to see Coop before he disappeared, and then suspiciously died of a fire. And then the scene with Ernie Hudson, because Ernie Hudson is apparently in charge of the Army, or the Air Force is probably more apt. In 25 years, there has been 16 hits with Major Briggs' fingerprints popping up all over the country. That leads us to an earlier scene in the show where that body, the 2 bodies, the head and the body of the 2 cadavers they found in episode 1, I believe that is the body of Major Briggs at this point.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they are leading all signs to that because, remember, it was the fingerprints they tried to run, and the forensic lady, who, God forgive me, I cannot remember her name, went to her superiors and said, it's military blocked. And then the next episode we have, we had another hit on Major Briggs' fingerprints. We need to send another investigation, yeah. More twisted form is that Major Briggs, if that is in fact his body, was apparently starved before he was beheaded, and the only contents of his stomach was a ring from Dougie's wife. It's his marriage ring.
Yeah.
Look at the body; it's kind of the shape of Major Briggs.
I know. Yeah, I see it.
16 times in 25 years, his fingerprints have popped up.
Could be could maybe he got doppelgangered at some point. I don't know.
I think at any point we're going to see Major Briggs inside the Red Lodge, and we're going to understand that my prediction was right. Ever since midway through season 2 of Twin Peaks, that has not been the real Major Briggs we've been dealing with.
That's weird. Oh man. All right, I'm willing to live with that. I didn't even think of that. That's a rough one. Okay. So where the hell are we going next?
Mike.
Yeah. Fuck it. Let's do Mike. Like, hey, unrelated to bodies and all this other stuff. Hey, Mike's still alive and well in Twin Peaks. You pointed that out to me because I sure as hell didn't realize it until you told me. I went back and rewatched and went, oh my God, he's right.
To be fair, he's a nothing part in this. So we see what is clearly a strung out scumbag looking for work. And Mike,
that guy's name is Steve, so we'll be seeing him later.
But he is Shelley's daughter's boyfriend. That is going to be later revealed. He's also a raging drug addict, apparently, which no shocker there. That's been set up since the very first episode. Mike then calls Steve in to discuss his resume. My God, like, even if that resume said, hire me, you fucking asshole, on the paper, Mike is displaying every trait that makes every human being hate their boss to a guy he's not even considering hiring. Mike is a real stone cold asshole in this scene. I can't help, like, I instantly hate Steve. Just his stupid haircut and his ratty face makes me hate the character immediately. But to be fair, I really felt bad for Steve.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Okay, a simple wrong would have done just fine, but...
Get out of my presence and may God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah, that's it. That's the last we see of Mike. I guess we could, but while we're talking about Steve, we might as well drop on back to the Double R Diner. Amanda Seyfried, I guess they might be husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend.
Boyfriend and girlfriend, because Shelley says, I don't like my daughter's boyfriend in the first episode.
So, hey, Becky is Shelley's daughter. They're always looking for money. They're both real strung out on drugs. And I'm going to throw this out here right now. I'm thinking Becky might be lining up to be the next Bob victim, the next Laura Palmer.
They are painting it out that way, or it could just be Lynch's constant fantasy of just showing the ugliness of America, like small time USA. It's like, well, you know, your mom married the worst son of a bitch that ever lived, so you know, mother follows the daughter sort of mentality going on.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
That was the whole point of the scene. Was who owns the Double R? Help me out. What's the character's name?
Norma.
Norma is having this whole conversation with Shelley, and they both look at each other like, haha, God, we married dicks. And they just kind of laugh it off as they watch their daughter speed out doing drugs with an asshole. And Norma and Shelley, possible couple?
I don't think so. I think
don't think so.
I don't think so. Super close, but they've always been like super mother-daughter close.
They have.
I mean, hey, possible. I mean, we don't know.
We know
they. No, wait a minute, Ed. But she's gonna be always requited love for Ed there with Norma. Come on now.
We haven't seen Ed at all in this so far.
Well, he's in one of the trailers, so he's here somewhere.
Okay. Well, I mean, that love triangle hasn't even been touched yet. And we just now got 2 of the 3 people showing their faces in the show again. So who knows what that disaster is going to unravel with.
We hear odd things in Twin Peaks about how some of the married couples aren't the happiest couples there might be. For example, new Sheriff Truman. His wife's a tad of a jerk.
Oh, God, that whole scene was brilliant. Like, talk about an uncomfortable fucking scene. First of all, though, I want to mention that I love that he's talking to his brother at the opening on the phone.
Yeah.
And it's kind of touching and kind of sad because, just to recant the fact that I was right last episode, you can, they're talking about further tests for probably cancer, but really any disease. And you hear the words from Frank Truman to Harry S. Truman ask, so how long is it going to take till those test results come back? And it's like, whatever Harry S. Truman's going through right now, I actually feel bad.
I loved Sheriff Truman.
I kind of wish this was actually in the show a little bit more, just so that, like, I hope Sheriff Truman pulls through these trying times. But yeah, that is interrupted by Lucy announcing that your wife is going past your office, now heading towards Hawk's office where you're hiding. And then take it away, Scott. What the hell do we get after she barges in?
Basically, she just comes in berating him with a bunch of stuff that he's already taken care of. I don't really know that there's that much more to chew on with this scene outside of showing that new Sheriff Truman stand-up guy. Another person in Twin Peaks in a weird abusive relationship is all I kind of took out of it.
At least she didn't murder anybody.
Well, that's true, but I guess Nadine didn't really either, so, well.
No, but what's her name?
Leo and Shelley. Bobby and Shelley.
Oh, God, no. Harry's.
Oh, God, couples don't do well in this town.
Sheriff Harry's girlfriend, Josie.
Oh, Josie, yeah.
I mean, just flat out murdered for at least 3 people in the show, so.
Well, that's true.
Andy and Hawk have a brief back and forth where they're still looking for something that's missing. Andy is still he's being racist, but he doesn't know that he's being racist, and Hawk is still taking it with really good humor, is basically all I could say about that scene.
Yeah. And that's really it. They're just still looking for whatever it is. But I'm beginning to think that the key might be what was missing. And somehow that'll get a hit. And maybe that'll be something that gets all the forces looking for Coop and Bob to converge. I don't know. We shall see. All right. So let's go to Dougie at the workplace, which is actually kind of the bulk of this episode. But I would say not that much happens that isn't really slapstick. I'm kind of with you. Like I'm about ready for Coop to stop being Dougie.
We're getting pieces of it. We're getting pieces of Coop coming back, all of which revolve around coffee and key phrases of the investigation. But it's not happening quick enough, man. Like, it's oh, God, I hope we're not waiting for a train that's never coming, is the only thing I'm scared. All right.
It's got to be coming. Come on. Like, I definitely think it's coming. I think it'll be like 3 more episodes before we finally get to some form of a resolution on this.
You got 2 before I start to officially start to get annoyed.
I would agree with you, but I think the meat around it has been so good that I don't mind it, and the slapstick has been kind of amusing. Like Dougie going to work, he's following statues, he's stealing people's coffees, still doesn't really know how to pee unless you point him at the bathroom.
I'm going to mention this until it's addressed in the fucking show. Why has nobody called a doctor for Dougie yet?
I don't think they're going to. You could probably stop mentioning it based entirely on the fact that this world doesn't care. Like they're just never gonna care.
This world is so fucking cruel. To be completely honest, if I met somebody like Dougie alone on the streets, I'd probably at least call the police, let alone maybe an actual ambulance, because this man's clearly had a stroke.
Call for help.
Yeah, like he's saying call for help, and nobody's helping him. Okay, before we get into the workplace, we should mention real quick at the very beginning of the show that the lady that is in charge of the hit on Dougie pulls out her BlackBerry and punches in a bunch of it says Argent, and she sends it on her BlackBerry, and it's received on a black box somewhere in the world. It's the same black box that Bob Coop was trying to contact Jeffries with in the first episode.
Yeah, something's definitely up with that.
That needs to be mentioned just because it's like...
It'll be a thing. You're right.
Because like Jeffries is the one who put the hit out on Dougie, possibly. So I just feel we should mention that before we get into the slapstickiness of Dougie at work.
No, you're right. Absolutely. Dougie is obsessed with coffee. He steals the one from the guy. He steals Frank's coffee.
Aggressively takes a coffee from that poor fucking intern, man. Holy shit.
But I like the fact that he thought, like, I think Frank might like this green chai latte tea thing. And at the end, he really loved it. And like, for some reason, it was pretty funny. I don't know why, but it was funny how much he enjoyed it.
I mean, look, that's some of Lynch's humor when it hits right, is like, here's this middle-aged old man who doesn't want this seemingly new wave beverage, and then as soon as he tries it, he's all about it.
He's ecstatic.
And everybody at the table is just having a good smile at him.
He calls the other, like, Dougie calls the other guy a liar. He gets called to the office, gets like sent home with a whole ton of homework because he's obviously going to be fired and he's not doing great at his insurance job.
We could do nuances in this scene for hours, but 2 that are very, very important. The man he calls a liar pulls Dougie aside at the beginning of the scene and says, he covered for you, you owe me one. So whatever Dougie was doing in Vegas, fucking hookers and gambling and God knows what other illegal things he was doing, this man is clearly in cahoots with him, or at least it knows about it, and maybe they were partners in whatever it is that they want to kill Dougie over.
Could be.
Secondly, unlike the casino where he kept seeing images into the Black Lodge to use the machines, The man he accuses of lying's face glows green 3 times, and that's how Coop knows he's lying. And I'm curious, because Coop, correct me if I'm wrong, he's always painted as a psychic in the series. He's got this supernatural ability where his dreams give him details into actual crimes.
I don't really know, I guess, but I feel like everyone in Twin Peaks has the kind of the dream psychic ability. But I will say that Coop had obsession with the Dalai Lama and I guess like Eastern medicine and Eastern practices, where that was kind of what the source of his work was. You could say it, like you could say the psychic thing. I
don't think Coop has the word psychic on his resume, but I think that there is some otherworldly force that actually helps him in his work that he has perceived as just being good at his job. And exactly. I think that green glowingness is supposed to be for the first time seeing through Coop's eyes, where it's like he doesn't know how the man's lying, but just because he's looking at him during the lie, he knows something's wrong.
Yeah, it's resonating.
I don't think that was the Lodge's power like it was in the casino. I think that's Coop finally coming back, like coming to the surface inside Dougie's body. That's how I took it.
If I can follow you down that road, it's sort of his power manifesting in real life for the first time. So I can follow you down that path.
Okay.
I don't think he would describe himself as psychic, but you're right. There is a way to view it as that. So I can give you that.
Cool.
Hey, speaking of Dougie, I guess that's all we have to really cover at Dougie's work. He's real weird on the elevator, but Dougie's still weird. I don't really know what else to say.
It's really sad because at this point, his wife should know his mental faculties are not there.
His wife seems crazy too. Like they both have that like weird Leave It to Beaver kind of a look to them and kind of a way they act.
And name their son Sonny Jim. But
there's something weird about the whole family.
But there's something really sad about somebody being stranded after work waiting for a ride home as the sun's setting. And it's like, oh, poor Dougie, man. Like, that's like,
yeah.
like again, I have, like, first of all, Dougie is Coop, and I don't like to see Coop suffer. But secondly, it's like, will somebody call this man some help, for the love of God?
Yeah. Last thing from Dougie this episode, cutting back to the casino where big boss man Jim Belushi which was, I did not expect Jim Belushi to be in the show.
He's not threatening when he's trying to be either, though. It's just sad.
Well, that's why he had someone else beat somebody up, like, according to Jim.
Also, Lynch, did you not get the memo, dude? Like, no, the mob doesn't own Vegas anymore, buddy. It's all corporations.
I'm pretty sure there's an organized crime element in Las Vegas still. So I am not willing to completely write off that possibility.
Okay.
But either in this world, neither here nor there. Sure.
It's clearly mob owned, yes.
It's either mob or, damn well they would have put Bobby Loggia in that role if he was still alive. Regardless, yeah, they beat the hell out of the guy that was running the floor that time and just give his second in command his job. And they're very, very upset. And if Coop ever sets foot in that casino again, there will be harsh penalties.
They said, if you see him in here again, you call us immediately. Directly call the mob. But here's the thing. Specifically that they're mobsters, not just any criminal element, but mobsters, because they got 3 show dames waiting for them in the back of the room for no fucking reason.
Well, it is I kept thinking that was weird, but then again, they are in a casino, and those are just people that stand around working in a casino. Like, so there is that.
No.
You're not incorrect in your assertion that it was weird, but their presence in that building isn't as weird as if they were in a school and there were these weird cabaret women standing in the background.
This is the same difference as being in a restaurant with 50 people in naval uniforms bouncing tennis balls.
I'll give you that. Okay, so I guess let's pull it back to Twin Peaks, to everyone's favorite bar, the Bang Bang Bar, the only bar in town.
Hey, you know what? Pulls in a hell of a venue.
It really does. I mean, they've had some bang-up musical acts there. Like, those are not small bands.
They got Stephen Lynch's kids band on tonight. Holy shit, look at this.
Ridiculous.
It really is. It's bad. It's real dumb.
But we get to meet our first new character. We only know his name through the credits, but that is Richard Horn. There's new drug dealers. Richard Horn is this shady-looking fella. sitting there. One of the local Twin Peaks girls is impressed by him and goes on over, and that turns rough real quick.
Oof.
Like,
and there's no conclusion at the end of this scene either.
No,
like
it's
that's
not
the
even
weird...
like he lets her go.
Yeah. But before that happens, we should mention that the reason he's there is to do a trade-off. He's got some money is trading off from some clear drug dealings that have gone down in the town of Twin Peaks.
If you can believe it, it sounds like the Bang Bang Bar is still an illicit hangout.
Like I told you last episode, folks, best drugs in the county at the Bang Bang Bar.
That's where you go for line dancing, court cases, the best drugs. But regardless, back to Richard Horn.
Jerry's kid? I'm going to assume Jerry's kid.
Looks a little like Jerry.
And the only reason I'm saying Jerry's kid is because Jerry has gotten into the legal end of drug dealing in the state of Washington. And I think he might have his son stemming up the illegal end because the Horns are not strangers when it came to illicit materials being passed in between countries, between Canada and the U.S. It looks like the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, because whatever
Horn family member this guy is connected to.
Yeah, exactly. He, I'd say attempted rape, but we don't know if it actually happens, because apparently nobody at the Bang Bang Bar is going to stop him, and he just abducts a girl.
Also worth noting, Richard Horn, maybe Richard and Linda clue? We were looking for what Richard and Linda means.
That's a good point.
Could be.
That's a real good point. I didn't think about that because I didn't read the credits, but fuck, that is a good point. It's got to be.
Could be
right.
our Richard.
It's probably why they didn't mention his name in this episode, because they're waiting for the reveal.
I'm starting to feel like they expect you to read things in the.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, Toad was in this episode real fast.
Toad, let's give a little credit.
Different actor.
Too.
Yeah.
Toad, I don't care, same character. Toad lost a lot of weight. Good for you, Toad. Toad lost like 230 pounds and aged 50 years in 25.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird that they called him out because the guy that was playing Toad in this was somebody who was in Twin Peaks: The Missing Pieces, but. Now he's the cook, and Toad used to just be a trucker that ate there. I don't know. It's
and
weird.
Stole
all over.
food and literally stole food from other people's plates. Good for Toad.
That's that. I guess we can go to my favorite reveal of the entire episode: that Dr. Jacoby is now Alex Jones.
This seems like a perfectly logical path for Dr. Jacoby, doesn't it?
Doesn't doubt at all. What was the mystery between those golden shovels? What was he doing with that? He's got a nightly video podcast or something where he's just like, we're taking down the airwaves. They're trying to make the frogs gay. We're turning all the shovels are now gold. You can use them to dig out the shit from the elites. Like,
let me turn on the torch of liberty. Turns on a light that's got a little Statue of Liberty in it. See, the beautiful thing is, it's not actually a podcast, although he does have a MacBook up there. Simultaneously putting it online, it's actually being broadcasted. It's Rebel Radio. He's doing Rebel Radio.
He's doing Rebel Radio. It's who the hell's the dude here in New York? He's got the national show. Chris Gethard. He's got the Chris Gethard show, which is in New York City. It's also on our public access TV, but he simulcasts it to the internet at the same time. So he has an internet talk show. Same deal. Exact same deal, except Jacoby's doing it all over his house and everyone's getting completely high watching it. And I was so happy to see Nadine. Because of course Nadine's a big fan of this.
Oh God! This doubled down. No, I was right to hate Nadine. I was absolutely right, because Nadine is just smiling like a pig in shit as she listens to Jacoby's complete rant. That's the best rant I've seen in this show ever.
Yeah.
And honestly, he's just basically going on and on about conspiratorial bullshit without ever giving any actual facts. It's just basically that everything's poison and everything's bad, and he only drinks juice that he makes himself from the fresh spring waters of the fucking backwater trailer park that he lives in.
Well, he lives in the mountain now. Now he lives away from everyone up in the trees.
And now for $29.99, you can get your double-plated gold shit shuffle that he is selling, and you realize that Dr. Jacoby, once the best and only established psychiatrist in the town, has now taken the form of a podcasting con man.
There before the grace of God.
Yeah, I know. We should really start selling shovels. Like it seems to be
shovel.
He seems to be doing okay. No, he doesn't seem to be doing okay. He's living in a trailer in the woods. But anyway, he still seems like he's making more money than we are. So
he seems happy with it.
He seems content. I don't know if I'd call that man happy.
I guess we have one quick check-in with Tammy Preston. She is investigating Coop and comparing the mugshot of Coop to Bob Coop, and she doesn't like what she sees.
She sees something odd with the fingerprints, and they don't go into detail what it is, but she's cross-checking his old prints to the prints of Bob Coop. And whatever she's seeing, there's clearly some sort of difference. Whether it's huge or vague, we don't know. But Tammy, doing what she's doing, being an investigator, stands up with a look of real concern on her face, like, this is just my guess. I don't think we caught the right guy.
I believe that as well. And hey, speaking of the wrong guy,
oof.
So Bob, first things first, we got to see that Bob is still inside Doppelganger Coop, but I think this is the first clear answer we have that the Doppelganger and Bob are kind of different entities. Because when he's talking to himself in the mirror, he says, like, you're still with me. Good. So there was a chance that Bob wasn't with him. So he can jump bodies, which still lends credence to the fact that he might try to jump into Gordon Cole.
And we're true. All of that true. We're still not sure which one was talking right then, though. Doppelganger Coop or Bob. Coop is clearly cut into at least two separate pieces at this point.
And then they kind of like do a cool little morph effect where they sort of blend the face of the actor who played Bob with the Kyle MacLachlan face.
Mm-hmm.
It looked a little weird, but it worked well enough. And hey, Frank Silva's not with us anymore, so what you can do, I liked it.
We got some footage of season 2 Twin Peaks, just to remind everybody of that freak out that they had in the Black Lodge, and then again more crazy camera work from Lynch with this one, where it just kind of does this real creepy loop of them laughing for about 30 seconds. Really does the job of making you feel weird and uncomfortable while you're watching it.
Speaking of special throwback camera work, Bob gets his phone call.
Okay, so yes, Bob is pulled into a special cell where he's given his phone, and the warden says, go ahead and make your phone call. Bob waits until the warden gets into the security room. Now remember, this is supposed to be a private phone call. Bob Coop, we'll use both names, because it's only appropriate that we use both names.
Sure.
Looks up at the security camera and states, now that you're all here, I will make my phone call. Fully aware that his private phone call is not being private. Asks them, will I call Mr. Strawberry? No, I don't think so. I don't think he's taking calls. I don't know if Mr. Strawberry is a reference to anything, but if it is, it's nothing I understood.
Well, either way, it really unsettled the warden.
Oh yeah, like hand on his face, kind of like, how does he know about Mr. Strawberry?
Daryl Strawberry.
Daryl. Maybe, I wish, but anyway, it didn't matter. Coop says, I know who I'll call, takes the phone off the hook, and then proceeds to dial a bunch of ridiculous numbers. Shortly after, every security alarm in the jail goes off. There's massive panic. And then we cut to a scene in Argentina. It says we're in Argentina, and we see the black box that was contacted by the hitman's boss at the beginning of the episode light up a second time and then turn into a silver droplet.
Yeah, that's been a recurring it's been a recurring image they keep cutting back to. So yeah, I don't know. That's going to be something.
So a little trivia for you. I don't know how true this is, but in a thing I read today, the word that the hitman boss texted to that box was argent. And apparently that means silver. And then the box turns into a little silver ball at the end of that scene.
Wow. Well, there you go. Now, that's good that you know that. And
it probably means it nothing.
Opens up. No, maybe you're right. I don't even mean that. That came out sarcastic. I was like, okay, maybe that is something. Who the hell knows what the hell that box is yet? That old-timey modem.
So the popular belief, and I'm curious if you think this is true, is that Bob Coop, and the hitman lady were both trying to contact Jeffries.
Yeah.
Which I'm so happy and also kind of terrified that they're making him this big of a character. And it's like, how are they going to deal with this? You know?
I think he had such a big plan for Jeffries in the movie that he just never got to. And now we're going to see what the hell that was. So, yeah, I'm really interested to see where that'll be. Yeah, I think Jeffries is somehow the key to all of this.
Yeah. Did David Bowie do anything for this show before he died?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But at this point, who the hell knows if there's some secret stuff we didn't know about? Like,
fair enough. That's or some old footage that he never used for the film either. Like, who knows?
I said this last episode. I absolutely would not be remotely shocked to see Bowie appear in one of these episodes.
I would love it, to be honest with you, because
absolutely love it.
They are boasting Jeffries as a fucking murderer at this point, like a rogue entity. I don't know what any of this shit is actually shaping up to at this point. That's kind of impressive. We're on episode 5. What's more impressive is that I'm loving it.
Yeah. I agree. I'm very impressed with where it's been so far, where it seems to be going. Everything seems intriguing in the ways I hoped it would be. Mm-hmm. And I think that's pretty much it for this episode, right?
Yeah, those are all the facts. The only thing, I mean, if you would like a quick prediction of what I think the plots, because right now we haven't really had an antagonist. Like, there's Bob, but Bob seems to be on the run and trying to survive something at this point. Mm-hmm. I think they are trying to turn Jeffries into the big bad of this season. And I think that smoke thing we saw in the pilot episode might have actually been a manifestation of Jeffries at this point.
Could be. I can't refute any of this. Mm-hmm. It is certainly possible, and Jeffries is getting name dropped all over the place. So
huge.
It could very well be it. All right. So that's another episode of Fish in the Percolator. Thanks for listening and or watching on YouTube or wherever you're catching this. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. I've been Scott Meany. You can find me at Pure Filler on Twitter.
I have been Matt Chorney. You can catch me at Handsome Tony on Twitter as well.
Thanks, everyone. Talk to you soon.
Bye.